the DocSports YouTube channel. Today we're going to be breaking down Florida at number 4 Miami. This game kicks off at 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, September 20th. Florida is currently a 7.5 point underdog in this Sunshine State showdown. So it might be time for me to admit that I was wrong about Miami. I was absolutely selling my Hurricane stock at the beginning of the season. And while I still think that Mario Cristobal is big enough of a clown to run this thing off the rails, I will give credit where credit is due. And right now, Miami does look like one of the best teams in the country. They had that nice win at home over Notre Dame in the first week of the season, although Notre Dame is 0-2, and the Irish actually had a chance to win that game. So that win is looking a little less impressive as the weeks go by. And last week, Miami absolutely throttled South Florida. But again, South Florida was a team that was playing 3 emotional games in 3 weeks. They were the only team in the country, the South Florida Bulls that is, that had posted back-to-back upset wins over top 25 teams. They were going for 3 in a row on the road last week in Miami. They absolutely did not get it. Now, Florida, on the other hand, has had back-to-back losses. So you got to expect a little bit of desperation coming into this one. They played at LSU, night game last week. Big play winner for me at the site, by the way. And they have not been playing well. They've only scored 26 points in their last 2 games. DJ Lagway, who is getting a ton of love, that's the Florida Gators quarterback. He was getting a ton of love coming into the season as kind of like a sleeper, Heisman, hopeful, up-and-coming, great quarterback, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, not so much. He has 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions in his last 2 games. He threw 5 interceptions last week against LSU in a game that Florida only lost by 10 points. Now, what's interesting to me about this game is that these 2 teams actually have a common opponent this early in the season. Both teams played South Florida at home. The Gators lost to South Florida 18-16 2 weeks ago. They were upset as a 17-point favorite, where Miami at home also is a 17-point favorite, as I mentioned. They won 49-12. So we have seen these 2 against a common opponent, and it's been pretty one-sided. No doubt who the better team is, right? Well, what's unique about that is that last week we had a very similar handicapping situation with the Vanderbilt-South Carolina game. Both of those teams had played Virginia Tech the first 2 weeks of the season. South Carolina played Virginia Tech on a neutral site. Vanderbilt played Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. So we could really do an apples-to-apples comparison. Now, South Carolina barely beat Virginia Tech. They scored 2 long touchdowns in the fourth quarter to turn a 10-9 game into, somewhat of a blowout there. Where Vanderbilt went to Blacksburg to play Virginia Tech in a bounce-back situation, in a revenge situation. They were trailing at halftime, but then Vanderbilt laid waste to Virginia Tech in the second half. So why am I talking Vandy, Virginia Tech, and Vandy, South Carolina, and a free play about Florida, Miami? Because I see the same thing here. Just like Vanderbilt crushed their common opponent and then went on to smoke South Carolina, that's exactly what I see happening here. Both Miami and Florida played South Florida, and it wasn't even close. Miami's obviously the better team. They're playing at home. They're only laying 7.5 points, and I feel like the sports books are baiting the public a little bit, given that extra half point. Like here, you're getting over a touchdown on the SEC team. No, we're definitely not going to bite. I would bet this game, and I would bet it early, because I bet by kickoff this game is going to be at like 8.5 at least. I see this number going Miami's way. The Hurricanes did win in this series 41-17 last year. So they went to Florida and beat the Gators. I think Miami's even better this season. So my free play is to take the Miami Hurricanes -7.5. Don't forget, I have a 7-unit college football play on Saturday that I love. I have posted 5 of 6 winning weeks for nearly plus 3,000 in profit over the last 21 weeks of football dating back to last year. I'm up over plus 11,000 in profit. Use the promo code EASY10 to get 10% off a 1-week package of my football picks this week. That's your free play today. Until next time, carpe diem and good luck.